Trust you're having a good Tuesday. It is a great privilege to be with you again here for a word of encouragement. And we're looking today at Hebrews chapter 10. We've already touched on this one verse, but I want to go beyond it and put the context together. The verse is one that is very familiar, verse 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. Now, of course, there have been a number of reasons why folks have not been able to assemble, the governmental restrictions and the health concerns and all of that. But I think we need to remind ourselves, as we see the day approaching, it is vital that we as God's people meet together, whatever the price we may have to pay. We read in the verse prior to verse 25, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling. That's all tied together. We desperately need the spiritual gifting of one another to build each other up, to provoke to good works, to edify. You go to Ephesians chapter 4 and you find that every Christian is spiritually gifted, and it's all for the purpose of edifying the body of Christ, to build it up. And you can't do that without meeting together. But what is sobering about the context of this verse is the next verse, verse 26. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Now here we see the great warning of the Apostle Paul, that if believers do not assemble, they can fall back. Now we don't lose our salvation, but we can really be overwhelmed by Satan's deception. And we have so many means with technology, especially if we find ourselves cloistered at home too much. We're tempted to be involved in watching, listening, or reading things that can corrupt our minds and our thinking, and we can go against the truth. Many Christians are compromising today. Many Christians are developing a new philosophy of what it means to serve the Lord. And as a result, we're going to miss out on the great opportunity to see God work in these days. And so these verses are very, very helpful. And so we need to decide, if at all possible, we need to assemble. And our churches need to courageously assemble. And we need to be actively encouraging one another. And we need to be protecting one another. And so I do want to encourage you at this stage in all that we're going through to begin to pull out of all that's going on and realize that the church is marching forward. That's God's plan. And you're part of God's plan. And I want to encourage you just to trust the Lord and do exactly what He wants you to do, and be a part of the assembly of believers for the cause of Christ.